Welcome back to MKE Gadgets. So this is my Prusa XL 3D printer, and it has the optional enclosure here. Cover on top, bellows down here. This keeps the machine inside clean. It also keeps it warm if you want to do flexible filaments like TPO, and it works very well. But my shop is dirty, dusty, and smoky. On any given day, I could do welding, grinding, machining, 3D printing, or use my CNC router. All processes create a different type of dirt, smoke, dust. Even though this printer has the optional very nice enclosure here, but on the outside, the spools are going to get all kind of dirty and dusty and grimy, and I don't want that. In the back are some power supplies. I want to keep them clean. I want to keep this whole thing clean. So today, I'm going to build an enclosure for my enclosure, and I'm going to make it out of 80-20. So you're asking yourself, what is 80-20? And 80-20 is a system of extruded aluminum. Aluminum is very nice because it's not going to rust on you, and it's going to keep this nice finish forever. I bought all this 80-20 off a marketplace, and it's used. There is somewhat of a discount on buying used versus new, but there's also problems. So one of the problems when you buy used is it might be dinged up or it's been machined for fasteners. Well, that's really not going to affect my project because I'm going to use this face. You can see how this is all corroded here. It must have been in a pretty tough environment. And the guy I bought this from, he stripped all these screws out for me. So underneath these screws are these T-nuts that slide in the track. These bolts are shot. I just got to get them off because I want to save the T-slots. So about a week ago, I sprayed it with a mixture I call Rust Off. It's 50% automatic transmission fluid and 50% acetone. I sprayed it on there, and I let it kind of soak in here, I think. So I took it outside and I washed all the rust off. And now what I want to do, I have these nuts on here, and I think if I weld the nut on there, the heat might break the corrodedness on a T-slot, and then maybe I can just twist these off. I won't know till I try. So I have the welder all set up. Not sure if this is going to work, but I've seen a lot of other people do it. You just weld a nut on it, and then you just take a wrench, ratchet, and then twist it off. I couldn't get continuity, so I had to go in there and grind the heads out of these bolts off a little bit. Get some clean steel in there. Let's see if we can break these off. Well, that works surprisingly well. I don't know if you can see it smoking here, but these nuts are zinc plated. And I don't know what kind of plated these bolts are. So you have to be very careful not to breathe in any of the off gas here. 5 more to go on this side and 4 more on this side. I'll do it off camera. It's just more of the same. I'll bring you back when I got something more exciting to talk about. So this is 3 inches by 3 inches. I bought 4 pieces, and they're all different sizes. But before I cut them off, what I want to do is mount this hockey puck on here. And this will be anti-vibration. It will also act as a jack, so I can level all 4 corners independently. But you can see it doesn't fit on there. So I need to make an adapter. So I have this 3-inch aluminum, 3-inch, 3-inch, half-inch thick. Drill 4 holes in here. Drill a 5/8 hole in here, thread it, and mount it. So it's going to end up looking something like that. First, we got to drill 5 holes in here. A threaded 5/8 hole, and then 4 in the corner for a 5/16 bolt. And the best machine for that in the shop is, say it with me, Roger and Josh, the Bridgeport Mill. With the plate secured in the vise, it's now time to do a little drilling. And I always like to start out with a drawing. I went to Fusion 360, I made a CAD model, and from the CAD model I make a drawing. Kind of reminds me of all my sizes and what I have to do. We're going to center drill all the outside holes, and that's for a 5/16 cap screw. And because it's a flathead, we got a chamfer that. And then we're going to drill out the center hole, and that will be tapped 1/2 inch 13. Before I go any further, you check, and that's below the surface. With that drilled, I'll tap that later on. So I earlier stated this aluminum extrusion was 3 inches. I don't know if you can see that. It's exactly 3 inches. Now this aluminum plate, you order 3 inches and it comes a little wider. Can you see that? 24 thousandths wide. And this is a long bar, and they cut it off, so they always give you a little extra space. So they gave me like an extra 1/8 of an inch. So right now, it's a little bit long, and there's no corner radius. I would like to make this exactly 3 inches, or as close as I can, and put a radius in all 4 corners. For that, say it with me, friends, to the Bridgeport mill. So with this all deburred, and I had to deburr the backside, I'm going to bolt it through here. And all I really need is 2 cap screws to hold this tight. The angle of the cap screw will kind of self-center it. Everything is nice and tight. Well, we're ready to make some more aluminum chips. I'm just going to add a little cutting oil here. The first pass or two might cut air, and I might just hit that 4 corners just a little bit. Aluminum chip time. Just a little deburring on there. And let's go over to the piece of 80/20 and see how this fits. All right, nice radius on there. Good cleanup. So this is my cutoff here on my 3-inch 80/20. And this has extruded holes in here that are ready for 5/16 18 threads. And that's how I bolt these on. So I have my tap in a tap holder in my cordless drill. And here's my little tapping block. This is a guide, so when I tap, I go in straight. See the hole here? 5/16. Once on a tap, I just line it up with the hole, and I get my guide on there so my tap is perpendicular or straight to the hole. Run in a little bit, back it out, run it in. Now that I got it going in straight a little bit, we'll add a little more oil on here. The key is to keep it straight in line, or you're going to break the tap. Don't ask me how I know that. It gets hard going, reverse your tap. And that should be deep enough. That's how easy it is to do that. So this is my tap holder. Has 1/4-inch square shank. Tightens up here. There's 2 jaws on there. And you tighten it up. Works really nice. Now we just got to finish the rest of the holes. Radius matches up beautifully. No overhang. I think it's winner, winner, steak dinner. Let's try the old hockey puck. 1/2-inch bolt. And that screws in. And that's going to be my isolator and my leveling jack. I can adjust the screw on there and tighten down the bolt. One question, do I engine turn this? You're not going to see a whole lot of it. This is going to be on the ground. Put in the comments down below. Engine turn, yes or no? This is 80/20, 1.5-inch square. I need 6 pieces cut to 32 5/8, 625. Today I'm going to use my new chop saw I got, and I just put a aluminum blade on there. So let me reposition the camera and you get a better shot, because I'm going to be standing right here. This is really a great saw. It cuts chips and throws them everywhere. So if you're going to use it, I recommend you wear one of these face shields, because they're going to end up all over. Down your shirt, in your pockets, any place you don't want them. That's pretty nice cut quality. I don't even have to take it over to the Bridgeport mill and clean it up. Now when I bought it, I don't know how the previous guy cut it. Looked like he had an angry beaver on there chewing on it. But I'm very happy with that. And there it is, 2 pieces cut exactly the same, or as close as I can get in my shop. Now I just got to cut 6 more of these. So I sized up 12 pieces, 1.5 inch, 1.5 square. Now this is 3-inch square. Now is the time to make a lot of aluminum chips. Look at that cut quality, like butter. This was the corroded end I had to take the bracket off of. And you can see how the aluminum was eaten away. to the scrap pile. Well, now it's time to attach the 1.5" 80/20 to the 3" 80/20, and for that, use these corner gussets and use these T-bolts that slide in. Now there's a little extra threaded part that is opposite of the gusset. So just put your 1.5" 80/20 over it, and then you slide that onto your 3" 80/20. And then you tighten it down with your 3/16 Allen wrench. I like to snug it up a little bit so I know it's not going to fall and hit me in the head. Don't ask me about that one. And I put a block here just to make sure and flush that these two are all the same, that they're all in the same plane. Then I tighten her up. And then I really tighten her up. So here I have one corner done. Let's take a look. Well, after spending many hours putting it together and taking it apart and putting it together, here's my structure. And boy, it's bigger than I thought. One thing I didn't realize, the whole thing is 6 inches wider. So I measured these out at like 34 inches. And when you put it here, it adds 6 inches. 3 inches here, and then 3 inches here. So the whole thing is 6 inches wider than I anticipated. And even at that, I made it a little bit wider just in case. Well, I'm gonna take it all the way apart, cut all the horizontal supports, there's 12 of them, to a new dimension, and reassemble it. And that I'm gonna do in the next video. So this is the end of the first video. Please support my channel by subscribing. I'm trying to get to 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Thanks, we'll see you tomorrow.